Mm. All right, episode 2. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. All right, episode 2. Hi guys. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome for the first time. If you've seen the other episodes, episode 1 was how moving out of Nigeria changed my life. This is episode 2. We're going to be talking about how moving to Rwanda specifically has changed my life. So I'm gonna start first of all saying when you want to move out of Nigeria, there for most people there's only two options: UK or US, right? And for obvious reasons, right? That's where the money comes from. At least that's what people think. People want to move to the US because they've seen a lot of American movies. They've seen a lot of action movies, like and they've seen the pictures: New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, and it's a very pretty place. It looks very good, but people forget that is not home in any way, shape, or form. It will never be home, and this is something people don't think about. They're like, well, I mean, typical Nigerians are typical Nigerians, right? Die hard, do whatever it takes to succeed. Grind, 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 make it work. But for the long term, there's so much that can happen. I mean, look at what's happening right now. Trump being elected as new president, people are getting deported, people are getting denied their visas, people are getting arrested, harassed. I'm not saying it wouldn't happen in other places, but I feel like Nigerians need to broaden their horizon, right? To look out there for better alternative. And trust me, there are better alternative. You could move to the US and land a rubbish job. Let's call it what it is, okay? Let's call a spade a spade. Some people move to the US and become cleaners, janitors, something very basic. Like, they wouldn't employ you there for your intellect. In the US, it's a very big competition. For you to stand out, it's very difficult. And that's because you're not needed there, right? The US and the UK, you're not needed there. They already have medical practitioners, they already have engineers, they already have technicians, they already have all the skills, all the knowledge-based workforce settled. What they're looking for is people who are going to do the dirty work, right? Clean the house, mow the lawn, pick up the garbage, drive taxi. And it's in as much as you could argue that an average taxi driver in the US or the UK earns more than the average doctor in Nigeria. And that's a fact. You could argue that, but it's not the same. Like, it's not the same quality of life, and you should remember what it does to you in a long term. Unless you're smart enough to say, okay, I'll do this temporarily, save up, and then elevate. If you're the guy who has moved to the US and with the mindset of, I don't move, or I don't jackpot, like anything like this, I don't finish. Yeah, it's not gonna. Yeah, that's not the way to go. You should be much more strategic about the decisions you make in your life, because it's your life and it's your future. If you make the wrong decisions, you're gonna pay for it big time. You will regret it. That's a fact. I don't mean to scare you. I mean, life is not that difficult, really. Life is simple, provided you do the right things at the right time and you don't mess with the wrong people. Yeah. Anyways, so why did I move to Rwanda? If you've seen the previous episode, I already mentioned it was for university at first. Now, when I was moving to Rwanda, there were several things on my mind in terms of the university, in terms of life, job, because like I told you, I already had a job in Nigeria. I was working in the solar industry and I was earning pretty well. I was doing pretty well for myself. It was a very comfortable place to be because you're serving a need, right? You're providing a service that people need, and I just so happen to have a very strong foundation in this technology, in electronics and electrical, because it's something I've been doing my entire life as a hobby. So having it as a job just like naturally translated. And I advise everybody to live life like that, not to go for like university and study a course that has nothing to do with what you want. Study what you love, please, please, I beg you. Oh, at least make it shall be useful. Don't go and study something like a psychology. I mean, psychology is not bad, provided you know where to use it. Yeah, I mean, everything is useful. Like, no, okay, how do I say this best? Every course is useful, but not every course should be a university 4-year course. Do you understand? There's some courses you can just take as a minor, right? You just like take it as you're going. And in fact, it doesn't even need to be a course. It could just be a thing. You just study, you just learn it, and you develop it, and you have it as a skill, right? Not a course like, yo, I'm going to university to study catering. I don't want to condemn any course, okay? I don't want to condemn any course, but for real, if you're going to university, you need to be strategic. You need to really know what you want and why you want it. And by God, it had better be useful. People will pay you money to be useful. You have to be useful to people so that you can get money. That's how life works. It's not about making sure you study medicine or making sure you study engineering. You have to be useful. If you're useful, you will get money. That's how it works. Anyways, so right, moving to Rwanda. Why Rwanda? Like, why in the world? Why Rwanda? Rwanda is a very tiny country. It's a very tiny country. Only 10 to 11 or, 14 million people at something like that. About the population of Lagos, slightly more, right? It's a very small country. It's small, but here's the thing. The thing my sister told me about Rwanda is, it's funny, but she was like, God, they answer prayer for your fast though. You know what that means? It's like, if you're Nigerian, you know what I mean. It says, when you're here, if you pray to God, basically you get replies much quicker. So it's like the reception is faster. It's a crazy concept, but I agree with her because I've seen it happen though. Like, so the thing is, it's in as much as God is involved, I can break it down to one simple fact, which is the system works. Let me say that again. The system works. What do I mean by the system now? When I say the system is basically how life should be. Kind of like what I just said just now, where I said, if you're useful, you'll get money. Money comes to you if you provide value. That's how it is, right? But if you're Nigerian, you know that's not always how it is, because you could be the smartest guy, the most resourceful guy, the most intelligent guy, and still be the most broke guy at the same time. Like, it's kind of crazy. Although there are some factors apart from just being smart that need to be, you know, some yeah. Anyways, in Nigeria, you achieving success is a little bit, very much more difficult. Not a little bit. It's very much more difficult. There's a lot of barriers, right? You are a graduate from university in search for a job for your medical degree. Before you can get a job as a medical doctor, you need to know somebody in the medical field, which of course, in every case you should, but not necessarily though, because it's only when you're going for something special that's when you need somebody special to help you achieve your goal. Not just for the average thing, but in Nigeria, it seems like even for the average thing, you need somebody on the inside. You want to become a politician because you're trying to solve a problem in your community, so you're trying to advocate for change. And before your voice will be heard, you need to know somebody up there. That's ridiculous. One thing I like about Rwanda is, especially in the government, the country is very small and everybody kind of knows everybody. You know what I mean? Like, It's a very small place, so everybody kind of knows everybody. It's not a very like Nigeria is 250 million people. That's a lot of people. Rwanda is only like 12 to 14 million. It's very small, and it's one president, and like everybody in the politics, they relate with the people, with the civilians. Like you could just watch. How do you say this? You could just barge into the president. Maybe not like that, but like let me give you an example. On Sundays, which is like today. Yeah, today's a Sunday. On Sundays, there's a thing they call they usually call it a car-free day, which is basically a day where cars are not allowed to just drive everywhere and the roads should be free, right? So roads are much free. So people go out to like jog, workout, and exercise, cycle, bicycles. Yeah, there's a future episode coming up about bicycles too, though. I have a very neat story about that, but we'll get to that later. So, you could, like, there was a time that the president was just out there. He just came out and he was just trolling. Of course, he has his own security detail following him and protecting him in case of whatever. But, like, you don't see that in Nigeria, that the president is just walking around freely like it's, a free state. Nigeria is safe, but I don't think the president will be confident. At least Buhari was not confident at any time in his regime to just roam around on the streets of Lagos, Abuja, or anywhere just like that without too much stress. Like you could walk up to the president, provided you're clean. Like, of course, they're gonna check you. You're free. You can walk up to the president and be like, "Hi." I almost met the president last year. Actually, I met him. We not almost. We were in the same room. We were like he was just like a few yards away. Almost snuck into a photograph too. But I mean, it's that easy. So it's they're very approachable. And the good thing about Rwanda is if you are solving a problem in a society in Rwanda, you're going to succeed. Like people are going to push you up there, regardless of your nationality. Whether you're Nigerian, Ghanaian, Liberian, Rwandan, South African, if you're here solving Rwanda's problem, you're going to find somebody to assist you to achieve that solution. That is something you don't see in Nigeria as much, which is a very big problem. Like Nigeria, if you have a solution to a massive problem in society, it could be like water, electricity, poverty, it could be something serious. In as much as the government will say, "Oh, we are trying to solve the problem here and there," my dear, see, it's just crap. Because you'll see a guy or a girl who has a solution, but nobody's listening. Nobody's trying to join her and bring her up so she would actually support her so she could bring this solution into reality. No one's going to support you. It's kind of crazy. So it's a very big problem that I have with it's a big issue that I have in Nigeria, which is that we don't support each other as well as we should. People in Nigeria usually they play the tribalism card, The Yoruba will support Yoruba, Igbo support Igbo, Hausa support Hausa, and then we end up just being separate. I'm an Yoruba guy. Thankfully, I'm not in any of these three major tribes. I'm saying thankfully because it actually is a good thing. Because if you're in one of these major tribes, my dear, they will treat you like, if an Igbo guy moves to Yoruba, they start treating them very, very differently. If Yoruba goes to Igbo or Hausa, they just, "Oh, you're Igbo, you're not from here." But for us, it's a bit less because we're not as big of a tribe. Like the Yorubas, I think, we're just in the Niger Delta region, just chilling. Not that many of us. But, you get what I'm trying to say. We don't support each other as well as we should. They're doing the whole tribalism thing, where there's a position in the company for an engineer specializing in material science. Instead of you to open up the application out and then do a proper interview to get the proper candidate for that job, you're going to call your cousin or your nephew or somebody in your family or relation or tribe who maybe can deliver something. It doesn't matter if it's like the best, but provided it's sharp on your side and you shove him into that position because you have the power. Like, it's crazy. So yeah, I'd say this. It's very very painful, because I for one have experienced that where, like, my entire time in Nigeria, I was doing all sorts of things, making stuff, creating solutions, inventions, tinkering here and there, and I would get some recognition from my friends, family, and neighbors, but nothing major. It's just meh. But here, you do the same thing here, my dear, people start like, wow, they start talking about you. They start telling you like, oh, I know this guy, this place, he can help you. And they connect you. Like, it's, yeah, that's it, connection. They easily just connect. Like, it's not even a big deal. And if you get a contract, like, I've gotten several contracts here. It's been only 2 years and I can count over, like, I don't know, eight, nine, I don't know. A lot of contracts come here and there short term, because, I'm a student. I can't have a full term. Like, I don't have a work permit, so I can't work forever. So it's a bit in and out, but I balance my tables. So, that's it. They really help you, and if they see that you have value to provide, they're gonna connect you with the right person to make sure that that value actually comes out. So, I and then what I was gonna say about the contract was that when you get contracts, there's no like a middleman, anything. If you're getting 1 million paid to your account, you are getting 1 million paid to your account. There's no one person that's gonna come and say, "Oh, you're gonna give me my cut 10% or 20% or some crazy astronomical 50%." Because in Nigeria, for example, you want to get a job in a bank, or you want to get a job in one company like a Shell, NNPC, or whatever. You know somebody on the inside. That person on the inside is gonna tax you for getting that job position. So he's gonna be like, "Oh, give me 25%, take 75%. If you don't like the deal, go. I'll find somebody else." Next, like, that's how they behave in Nigeria. But here they don't do that. It's a very clean of, like, it's very clean of, what am I even saying? Like, the corruption index is very low. That's one thing I appreciate a lot about Rwanda, which is that you can actually do your business here without the fear of getting duped or frauded or corrupted. Like, there's just, the people don't even think like that. They just do their thing. They don't. And I really happy. This is another factor. I should mention this as well. Back when I was in Nigeria, I think my mental health was in trouble, guys. For real. My mental health was in big, big trouble, because every time I'd look left and right, all I see is Yahoo Boys succeeding. Now, I'm not gonna say I don't have anything against Yahoo Boys. I have very big beef against Yahoo Boys because they ruined Nigeria. As far as I know, they ruined my life. They fuck. Anyways, apologies. But like, it was a time where you're in Nigeria, you look left, right, you go to church, you go to the market, you want to buy something, you want to buy a cloth. And because Yahoo Boys are the ones purchasing the most expensive stuff, everything, the price has increased. Life became very difficult for the average guy who's very, like, I have my hands clean, but these guys are doing these notorious things and making life hard for me. So now I can't afford that shoe that I want, or that shirt that I want, or that phone, because the Yahoo Boys, even rents increased. And it's just insane. It's really, really insane. So being there, you start to think about, oh, should I do Yahoo too? Because that's what everybody's doing. You're talking to a girl, the girl's beginning to size you like, yo, are you even doing Yahoo? If you're not doing Yahoo, you don't have money. Like, it's crazy. And then you start to think in a different way, which is not normal. You start to think of how you're going to make that money quickly, which is very toxic. It's a very, very toxic mindset. And I'm so glad I'm away from Nigeria, because, yo, as you can hear from the sound of my voice, it's still something that has, like, really traumatized me in a way. But, like, being away from that environment really, really helped me. Gave me a lot of clarity, mental clarity, where I can now focus on what actually matters. I think this is something I should say. I should have said in the other video about moving out of Nigeria changed my life. But this is why it's an episode, right? This is episode 2. So, anyways, there will be episode 3. Maybe I'll be on different outfits. So like I said in the previous video, subscribe. There is so much more I'll be going into, so please subscribe to the channel. And yeah, I'll, I'll talk to you soon.